Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's card is going to be a Father's Day card. Now this masculine design can be easily adapted to other occasions, and sometimes if you're like me, you struggle coming up with a design that is going to be not too frilly or not too girly for the guys, but I think this card design really fits the bill. There's a twist to this video which I'll talk about as I get into it. Let's get started. I wanted to take a minute and talk about my grid paper here. There's a video on my channel which I will link down below, which shows how I came about to have this laminated grid paper. And I notice I have a little stain here, so I have a paper towel which has a little bit of alcohol in it. And as you see, it is really easy to keep this clean, and so you always have a nice workstation without a bunch of mess. Also, this gets up adhesives, the alcohol does, so the little bits of glue that I have stuck here and there comes up also. So please check out that video on my channel. Now to talk about the materials that I'm using today. I wanted to take a minute to show you this paper. This is a 6x6 pad that I got on the clearance rack. I don't remember what store, and it has a lot of really nice masculine type designs in it, so I thought this would be perfect for my Father's Day. And also I have this burlap paper which is from Die Cuts with a View, and it is basically exactly what it says. It is burlap which has been put to paper, and it's really thick, and it adds a nice bit of interest and texture to your card designs. So the stamps and I'll be using today is going to be the Stampin' Up Something to Celebrate. This is one of my go-to stamp sets because it has so many interesting sentiments in it. I'm using a Stitch Squares die cut. There's no name associated with this. I got it at Amazon, but there are several companies that have the Stitch Shapes die cut, so just use whatever you have. I have Patterned Balloons by Inkadinkado. And this is a really great stamp set because it has so many different balloons in multiple sizes. And also Handwritten Sentiments by JilliBean. I'm going to be using some gold metallic thread, ribbon, and some baker's twine, and this is blue and white. I'm also going to be using some buttons, and I keep my buttons in this plastic container sorted by color. I'm not sure which buttons I'm going to use yet. Okay, let's clear this away and get started. In this video, I'm going to be making 4 cards, so it'll be a little bit longer, but there won't be as much talking because everything is very simple card techniques. So the first thing I need to do is cut my 6x6 paper in half and then in half again. And this card layout can be done with any 6x6 paper with an all over pattern. You just go for it. It's really simple. All right. And now the first step, there's my 4 panels. Now I'm going to mat these 4 panels by using the background mat. So I have my larger, I have 2 stitch squares in the larger square. I'm going to just take it and put it right in the center and make sure that it's well within the edges so the cuts don't show when the panel is over it, and the white panel will be over that cut design. I frequently show how to save paper using your mat, so this should come as no surprise to people who have been watching my videos. What I'm also going to do is take the smaller stitch square and cut from this 3x3 square. When you run it through your Big Shot, be sure that you line it up really carefully so that you are dead into the center of this square. So really be careful when you run this through. All right, let me go do this die cutting here. And oh, there's one other die cutting, the burlap. I need to explain this too. The banner die cut that I have is shorter than what I want the panel to be. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to show you that a little bit separately, but you're just going to run it through your big shot in 2 stages, and I'll talk about that in a second. But first I'm going to cut this. Now I have all my cutouts here, and it's now time to cut this burlap. So this is shorter, as you can see, so I want to do it in 2 passes. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the plate and offset it a little bit so that it doesn't press on this edge here, because I don't want it to cut across there. But when you're doing this partial cutting, you want to start with your plate inside the machine rather than do this way, because if you start it on this way here, well, you can't see it, just a second. You want to start with the plate in the machine first, because if you went from this direction, you would just shoot this plate backwards, and you don't want to do that. So make sure that you don't cut this edge here. You can see the edge of the plate is just before it, and the edge of the banner is just at the edge of the burlap strip here. In fact, I want it up a little bit. There we go. And it is straight in it. All right, and so now I'm just going to send that through carefully so I don't smash my finger. And because it's thick, I'm going to back it out so I can get it 2 times. And now take this and free the die cut, and you see it's a little thick. Let me pull it so I can see it. I'm gonna have to get my scissors and free that because it didn't cut 1 thread. Burlap. Okay, now I got it. Okay, so now you see that it is partially cut. There. Now we're going to take it and feed it through again. And this time the cut edge, you're going to make it go over that side and push this all the way up. So let me flip it over so you can see. So I'm bringing it this end up as far as it'll go, but I'm also trying to keep it straight, because I want a straight cut. And then I'm going to go through and do the same thing again. But this time I'm going to have to turn it because the side I want to cut is on this side. And again, I'm going to have to give this 2 passes to make sure I get a good cut. Woo, see how that shot out? Okay. And now I pull it so I can see what I'm doing. There. So now I have this long cut piece. So that is how you get a longer die cut from a shorter one. Bad English. So I'm just going to trim this part up and do the others. Again, don't throw this away. Hold on to it. If you are careful in your cutting, this is what you will end up with. You have the card mats, the panels, the mats for the panels, and the banners. And these materials are going to be used in another card design. And I'm going to move this aside and I'll show you that later. I cut 5-inch strips of the ribbon, and I also tied bows through the buttons. I didn't show you all of the steps involved in that because it was very painful to watch. So I just take and thread the button with the baker's twine, and you just give it a simple cut, a simple knot. It's very easy at this point. The hard part was getting it through that little hole. That's not my strong point. Okay, there we go. Now the tails, I have been a little bit more generous with this string than I should have been, but I wanted to be sure that I had a lot of ease to get it tied. And if you want the bow to be a little bit smaller than that, just pull the tails and then tighten the bow. And you can trim the edges as you want. And in this case, I'm going to trim it like about to here. And believe it or not, we're still going to be mindful of our waist. don't throw these little 4 pieces away. You're going to think I'm crazy, but it all makes sense. Okay, now the rest is just putting the card together. So I'm going to let the music play and assemble it everything. And that is the 4 finished cards. It was very easy, and I hope that you will try it. And this is a masculine card, which I'm sure you could be proud of, to give it to that special someone. Now, I mentioned all of these other scrap bits. Let me bring these back in so you can see them here. And I made a card design using those scraps, because you know me, I hate throwing stuff away. So in addition to these 4 cards from those scraps, I'm going to get an additional 4 cards that look like this. So the frame, let me pull this out. You see it here, and this discard bit here is this part. So I'm going to just quickly throw that together at the end of this video, because there's not too much to explain about that. This is just stacked die cuts here and here. And let me show you the stamp set I used for that. I used the Heart to Heart stamp set. And let's see who's this by. Melissa Designs. And where are those little panda guys? And the pandas are by Mama Elephant. It's a panda set, and it has matching dies. And these are the finished cards. This was my original design here, and this is the design that I got from the scrap pieces. You know, never throw anything away if you can avoid it. There's always something you can do. I hope you like the scrap card as well as you like the original card. I hope you'll try doing something similar yourself. It's a lot of fun. And these cards, I haven't made them specifically Father's Day cards, but they can also be birthday cards by just taking and stamping a happy birthday sentiment on the inside. And of course I can also like this, or a Father's Day card. So you could actually leave this blank and just stamp a appropriate greeting at the proper time. That's also something you can do. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Please hit that subscribe button. I appreciate all of the comments that I'm getting, and I try to answer everything. Thanks to David for the music that he's providing, and I hope that you have a great day. Take care, everyone.